Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm ready to drop on you my updated Forge Guard Forged Weapon Sentinel. Of course, stronger than ever, currently pushing 1200 corruption. And you're going to see tons of new build guides from this channel because right now we're updating everything on actionrpg.com. As always, I will show you every single facet of the build. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you need to bounce around. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. Starting off with some gameplay. Now what you're looking at right now is 1200 corruption, 1202, which you can see on the right hand side, and I am using Forge Guard Forged Weapons Sentinel. Yes, another minion build. This is basically animate weapon, and the skills we are using is Vengeance. This is your right click or your melee attack, and this is going to give you survivability. It'll give you shred, and it's going to create your forged weapons. We are using Symbols of Hope. I took out Manifest Armor on this build and put in Healing Hands. Healing Hands gives you about 1200 ward when you are attacking and gives you added survivability. So I felt that was better than Manifest Armor because Manifest Armor just dies all the time. And as you can see right now on screen, there is a 1202 corruption Rift Beast dead. We are also using Forge Strike, and you're not going to use Forge Strike very often. You can use it if you need to generate some quick weapons without your melee attack. But for the most part, we are just using that to boost up our weapons. 1200 corruption, fully empowered Blood Nemesis. Get over here. Smoked. And then our movement skill, we are using Void Cleave. Now, what's cool about Void Cleave is it's a melee attack. It gives you decent movement. You have 2 charges of it, but also you want to Void Cleave into your forged weapons because it will super boost them. Let me show you some single target. 1200 corruption Abomination. And you will see, even at this level of corruption, he will kill the forged weapons, but he still doesn't stand a chance. Absolutely smoked. But Aaron, there's no way forged weapons can kill the 1200 corruption Harbinger of Defilement. No way. You already know it's coming. Harbinger of Defilement, 1202 corruption. He does kill your forged weapons quite often, but you can almost face tank him. Absolutely dead. And of course, I gotta show you the Aberoth kill. This fight is very, very easy. You can pretty much face tank the entire fight. Final phase. And Mr. Aberoth, you, sir, are dead. I love forged weapons. Let me show you how to recreate this build. So now let's break down the skills, starting with our movement skill, and that is Void Cleave. I'll try and point you in the right direction on what nodes you want to take first. Now for me, Void Cleave, first thing I want to do is come down here and actually turn it into a traversal skill. This will make it very easy for you to Void Cleave into your forged weapons. You then want to come up and to the left here and get all of these nodes. This is what's going to super boost your forged weapons. So again, you're using this as a melee attack and you want to Void Cleave into your weapons. It might sound annoying, but honestly, I don't even think about it. I just use it as a traversal skill and I almost always hit my weapons. You then want to come up and make it where you could Void Cleave more often, get some armor shred and give yourself an extra charge. Mana is not a thing on this build, so you can use mana freely here with the extra charge. Moving over to Symbols of Hope. For Symbols of Hope, first thing I do is I come over to the left and I get damage, crit, and fire base. All of this will be for your forged weapons. I then come to the right, get an extra symbol, and then all the remaining points come into endurance per symbol you have. Moving over to Forge Strike. Now again, you rarely use this skill. I do use it every once in a while, but mainly what this is for is just super boosting your forged weapons. What you want to do is you want to come up and you want to get attack speed. You want to come down to get multiplicative damage, and then you want to take everything around here. So this is going to give you base damage. It's going to give you duration. You have a chance to make a giant axe. They explode and detonate. You're going to be making them over and over again, so they will just keep exploding. You're then going to come down here and get Forged Weapons area, and then all remaining points go up here into mass production. That's how you actually make Forged Weapons with your Forged Strike. Moving over to the newcomer, Healing Hands. Now, I could not figure out a 5th skill for this build. And yes, I tested multiple skills. I was using Manifest Armor, but as I climbed in Corruption at 1200, it doesn't matter. I spec'd Manifest Armor into full survivability, and he still dies. So I was like, okay, I'm done with that. So basically what we do is we've automated Healing Hands by making it on a melee attack that it triggers. We came down and made it free, so we don't have to worry about mana. And then we've just fully gone into healing and healing effectiveness. Now, with the amount of attack speed we have, I generate about 1200 ward. And then, of course, you get the healing from healing hands. So you're basically, yeah, you could switch this skill out if you have another favorite. For me, it's just automated, it's easy, and it gives you more sustain. Last but not least, Vengeance. Now, for Vengeance, what you want to do is you want to come down here to the left, and you want to take all these nodes right here. This is going to be chance to trigger a forged weapon with iron blades. Parry chance with forged weapon, so it gives you more sustain, speed, and range. Up here, this is gonna take care of frailty. This node is awesome. 26% less damage taken and 50% armor bolster. It's one of the best nodes literally in the game. You're then gonna come up here and get increased attack speed, so it's just easier for you while you are playing. Those are the skills. Now let's talk passives. At time of recording, I am logged into the game, level 100, and we're gonna start in the base Sentinel tree. I have 1 into Juggernaut, 8 into Fearless for some vitality and health regen, Stalwart for some block, Armorclad for DR, and Valiant Charge is going to give you base health and cooldown reduction. Now, if there's any reason you are struggling with mana, you can come here and take Time and Faith. I am not, so we have no points there. Moving over to Forge Guard. I have 7 into Battle Hardened. There's like almost nothing down here. This whole middle section doesn't do anything for you. So I have 7 into Battle Hardened. This is armor and physical res when hit. Block effectiveness. Then we jump over here to Guardian. This is health and health regen. You've got an option between these two skills. This one gives you stun and minion stun immunity. I'm making minions all the time that I don't care about the stun immunity, so I took the health regen and based health. Bleed and ignite chance. This also applies to your minions. Even though we're not in a bleed and ignite build, still take every point you can get for your forged weapons. Armor shred for yourself and forged weapons. Attunement, damage over time mitigation per attunement. You got a little bit of that. Manifest armor, forged weapons. This was the best node on the entire thing. You get an extra 2 forged weapons and you get the melee attack. We're going to come over here and get less damage taken. You're going to get on potion. So armor on potion, but more important, less damage taken over time. And this is doubled if you use a potion. So normally you're not thinking about this. When you pop a potion, you're in a bad spot and you just get this bonus, which is great. Shared fire and physical for your forged weapons. And we are using a 2-handed weapon and a shield. So we're using the new Forge Master's Might. You're now going to jump over to Paladin. We've got 3 into Honor for the block and block effectiveness, 8 into Defiance for the attunement, res, and endurance threshold, 4 into Valor. Now, this takes care of your 15 points to unlock Symbols of Hope. I put an additional 5 points right here into Holy Icon. This gives you health regen, and necrotic resistance. You could move these 5 around if you want them somewhere else, but I am focused on health regen. And then the final 5 points over here into Void Knight, which gives you less void physical damage taken. Those are the passives. Moving over to last Epoch tools to break down the blessings, idols, and gear, starting with blessings. Now, the ones I'm currently using in game are health, all res, minion damage, armor percent, and health regen. Now, you could switch these out based upon your gear needs. You could put on a resistance, you could put on crit avoidance, you can add endurance. These are just the ones I'm using based upon my gear. Moving over to idols. Nothing required for this build. I am using the Ornate Solar Idol Double Armor. It just gives you so much more sustain, and I'm using 2 of those. And on here, you can get minion attack speed and base minion damage. So not only is it an awesome idol, it also has an awesome enchant on it as well. I'm using health regen and more armor on the top ones, and then just rounding out with some resistances. Now, moving over to gear. There's nothing required for this build, just FYI, but there is some best in slot. And I'm going to start with the weapon, all right? One thing about forged weapons is they inherit your weapon, which means what you are holding transfers to your weapons. So you want the most beefy, ridiculous 2-handed weapon you can find. And just know that Void Cleave requires a 2-handed axe or a sword. So it has to be one of those. That's why we can't use the Sunforged set, because it is a mace. Now on here, I have a ridiculous sword in game, just FYI. But this is what I would recommend. This is melee physical base, increased damage, stun, physical penetration, and then the T8 is an exalted primordial exalt that can add up to 170% melee attack speed. This is why my minions are attacking so fast. This literally took the build from 700-800 corruption to now over 1200 corruption just with this weapon. It is awesome. So basically you want to find some crazy nemesis, insane two-handed weapon. All right. Other items we are using the affix for the Sunforged set on our helmet. This gives 6 health regen per forged weapon and increased armor per forged weapon. Since you've got, 12 of them, it just super boosts your sustain. We're using Mantle of the Pale Ox. This is not required, but again, just gives you damage reduction since you have so many minions. We're using Death Rattle for the critical strike multiplier. You have great critical strike chance on this build. I like this better than Evolution's End. Evolution's End gives 2 to skills, but honestly, we don't need them. If you look through the skills, there's not a lot in there we would use those 2 points on, so I'd rather just get the critical strike multiplier. We're using the Countess of Majasa. This was nerfed on the last season, but it's still great. If you have a favorite shield, you can switch it in. Again, just using this for sustain. We're using double Phantom Grips. Phantom Grips are actually designed for forged weapons. So it's going to give you 2 to skills. It's going to give you crit mana, and you'll inherit your glove stats. We are using Falcon Fist. Falcon Fist has melee attack speed and base damage for your minions. These are very easy to find, 2 and 3 LP. We've added more melee attack speed, crit, and hybrid health. When you are holding a two-handed weapon and a shield, you can't have haste, so it's important to get some movement speed. We're using Blood of the Exile because it can give you up to 70% movement speed. We have so much health regen, 1400 per second, that we are using Vessel of Strife, and this just gives you a free 2000 ward. Last but not least, we are using a Spider Silk Sash. We just needed some help with some resistances. This has poison and cold on it, and we took minion damage, cleanse, and double health. That is the gear. Moving over to actionrpg.com to talk leveling. Now, just know all my leveling guides have been tested in game and fine-tuned. This one is actually made by friend and content creator Babbling Bike. Now, we're not going to go through the entire guide. Again, this is linked in the description below. But the skills that we are currently recommending is Hammer Throw, Holy Aura, Abyssal Echoes, Symbols of Hope, and Smite. So these are the skills that you would use. We also have some recommended uniques: Bleeding Heart, Avarice, Thornslinger, and Blood of the Exile. If you come down here, it also has Bike's video for Bleed Hammer leveling guide. This leveling guide was made for season 2, but the leveling guide hasn't changed, so we didn't update the video or any part of the guide because it still works perfectly. Now, something new I've added to all my build guides is an actual breakdown of the loot filter, and just know the loot filter is in the FAQ on actionrpg.com and in the description of this video. And you can use any loot filter you want. There's a lot of universal filters out there that are great, but I get asked about this all the time, so I thought I would cover it. Now, when you're looking at the Forge Guard Forged Weapons loot filter, just know all these red rules right here are for leveling. So if you want to play this build from level 1, this will give you the items you need for the build as you progress through the campaign. Now, once you are done with the campaign, you can uncheck all these because you no longer care about rare items, and then you will move up here. Now, what the loot filter is going to do is it's going to show you 2 LP and 19 Weavers, and those will be highlighted. It's going to show you T7, double T6, triple T6, and up Exalts. And then up here, I have in green capitalized as the top rule, all the uniques for this build. So you do see a little more loot with this, which is what I like, especially if you're building a lot of other builds. But ultimately, absolutely everything you need for this build, including high value, red rings, Orin's Eye, stuff like that is in here as well, which is exciting when you find. Loot filter in the FAQ on actionrpg.com and in the description of this video. All right, everyone, that's the build guide. What do you think of my new and improved Forge Guard Forged Weapons? Is there anything I missed? Is there anything I can do to push this to the next level? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Of course, only if you think I've earned it. If I haven't earned it, I'm going to work harder for you. Don't forget to check out my new website, actionrpg.com. We've got leveling guides, build guides, tips and tricks, event calendar, news. We're working on our own custom database. It is going to be very, very cool when it's done. Last but not least, least, join the Discord. Over 5,000 members. We do movie nights, game nights, merch giveaways, game giveaways. It's where all the subathon event shenanigans happen. Awesome place to hang out if you love all things action RPG. I'm done. Hopefully you were entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.